Hi folks, I'm going to do a review of heaters, and I've had a bad luck with heaters recently. This one's thermostat won't work well, so this is that was heat up 150, and the Tetra Tech broke. It just wouldn't heat up, and so that tank that's on my 125 tank, and that's had a lot of issues with heaters. So I bought the Eheim Thermocontrol, because I thought, why not use a brand I know is reliable, and we'll see how it goes. So I bought the 300 watt and the 150 watt for both tanks that the heaters on them aren't so great. So my Fluval one that came with the 200 litre ain't great, and it's decides when it wants to work and when it doesn't. That one is hit and miss. The thermostat is the tad off. So I got this for the 200 litre, and it says it's for 600 to 1000 litres, so it is a tad big. There wasn't one more for my size tank, so I thought, well, the thermostat will switch off when the tank gets too warm. So it's using less energy in some sort of way, I guess, because it will heat up the tank quicker and the thermostat won't need to be on as much. So I guess it's worth trying. So the other one, the thermostat, is actually amazing. It keeps it at, I've got it set at 27 degrees on the 125 tank, and it keeps it at 27 degrees. So this one I haven't unboxed because, well, I've been busy over the last day because I've been working, and that heater isn't as bad. So you open it, you get suction pads, and Eheim kind of has suction pads that are a bit of a pain to get off. Usually you get, let me get a comparison. So this is the Eheim suction pads, and this is Oasis. You get this flap and you can kind of peel it off. But the Eheim, you kind of have to get your nails under. And as I bite my nails aren't that great. So it's a bit of an issue. The plugs, they're big, and you can, I don't know if it's just because it's European, but you can open it up and rewire it, I guess. But I'm no good with electrics. So you open it up, and it's bloody big. It's massive, this heater. So let's compare it to, so this is a 300 watt, so I guess it is going to be bigger. This is the 200 watt for the Fluval, and you can see there's a massive size difference, and even the 125 is a lot bigger than any other heater I've put in that tank. But that means that I guess more surface area against the heat, which in the long run is better. And I do like the heaters. The only thing I find this a bit more difficult to turn than otherwise, because I always set it to about, yes, this is set at 26. Sorry. And I usually, oh god, I'm not very good at reverse sight. I usually want it on that tank about 28, or between 28 and 29, sort of that. So it is a bit hard to turn, especially when it's in the water, and that's mainly the only issue I've had with it. And I've had it running for the one in the 125 about a few days now. So the suction pads, you just clip them on, and there's not really much setup. The one thing I would always say with any electronics is a drip loop. And one of the drip loops I've seen that I was always told about was actually getting the wire and just doing, if you've got space, just doing that. Nothing tight, because that will damage the electronics, I believe, the wires inside. You just want to do something very loose, and that creates a kind of drip loop in itself, I believe, but generally just create a drip loop. The only issue with heaters in general is these are quite short. The cables are really short, and this is quite a good length, so it can reach down the tank with a drip loop. Eheim has always been reliable, so there's not really too much to say, and the heaters are pretty simple. So it comes with an instruction manual, which always, don't know how you'd need it particularly for heaters, because they're pretty simple. Other than, I guess, if you're starting out, there is a minimum water level, so you want the water to be at least up to that water level. But generally, a lot of people tend to have it diagonal or across on their tank. It depends how much wire you have reaching down. So, and you just suction pads. I do find suction pads don't always last that long, so I tend to dangle heaters a bit. And anyway, it looks really good and solid. I do like to see the heater filaments in a way, because then you know how it's getting on. So if you can compare to this, so this is the Oaza 150 heat up thing. You've got a very limited view anyway, especially when it's under the water, makes it quite difficult, but this does turn a lot easier. And you'll notice that it will go to a minimum of 18 degrees, whereas this goes to 18 as a minimum, but the maximum on this will go up to 32. This goes up to 34, so you could keep a lot more higher temperature fish, because there are a few out there that do prefer those higher temperatures. It would be nice to have heaters that were set a tad lower, but I guess it's limited availability. And you can also compare to this, which has, you can barely see. The light on it to tell when it's on is really good, I find. It's just there. Sorry, plugs keep moving. Yeah, and it's a red light, quite a bright one, whereas this is a dim blue light, so I'd have to really look close at it to see if it was working. And this was okay, but I found it made a noise every time the thermostat switched on and off. It has got condensation in the tube. I don't believe that should be an issue. So I'll see how this goes, and at least I can use the Aqua one, I can use as a backup. And it does look quite solid. So if you like my videos, please comment, subscribe and like or whatever. I'll try and make more videos. Anyway, thank you for watching.